Hi, it's David here with Futures Trading. I'd like to welcome you to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm going to tell you when it's likely that price will retrace back towards you. A lot of people have a hard time when it comes to entering trades. They get in and then the market comes back at them. I want to tell you what to possibly look for, and so you don't get in so quickly, or if you are in the position, not to just tap out. Okay, I don't want you to just leave. I want you to stick around. All right. So I'm gonna give you this information. Now, that's supposed to have been my last video here, but the NQ did not hit that target. All right, it turned around before it got there. So I'm gonna come back and give you a little bit more information because if they're going to keep going, I'm gonna share something with you that could help you out. All right. So this is the universal threshold. So how far the live candle will pull back. All right. But I'm gonna try to tell you when it will. All right. So that's important. The universal price action trend, you just need to be able to count to 10. The universal price action method, I use the majority principle, which states that the minority is compelled to follow. All right. And there's three different ways it'll show up on your chart, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. The universal chart scale. So I teach you how to read your hard right edge, your bezel. All right. So you don't have to look left. Really important. If you're in the market for additional information, I do have some videos here to help you along if you would like to further your education. The market is full of professionals, so you don't get to section off and go be with the intermediates or the beginners. You have to interact with professionals. So I do encourage you to do just that. The free information here is a great foundational point for you. There's four things that I'm willing to share with you, but there's more information you'll want to know. They may want to come back after this bar here. Okay, there's the range. All right, so it's coming back towards us. Okay, so now let's take a look. Yeah, this makes sense. And them popping up makes sense. So I got some timing information here for you. You may get ready to see some weakness here on this next bar. All right, so the those that have the indicator suite, all right, those that have it, this is just a couple additional indicators that I made. Let's see if they'll put a little weakness in this. Let's see what the range may give it to us after this bar here. So we may see a little weakness. There it goes. All right. So now let me show you the range because I know a lot of you like range trading. So let me show you the range chart. This is Bitcoin. Here's those indication for those who have the indicator suite. I actually added a few more indicators in there. These are single bar plots. So not the zone, but the macro and micro. Well, I'm sorry, I got a micro too, but a macro rotation, and then the thrust POI. So these signals come on the moment that the bar closes. Now it can present the reversal, or it can validate the run when you're dealing with the circle. All right, the arrow absolutely directional. So the moment that the bar closed, the arrow comes on and say, hey, we need to do this. All right, and there's the arrow there. There's the drop from the range up there, and then of course it came here on the bottom as well as here, and they're trying to get it up. All right, now here's the ranges. So if you want to use the range time, is from 6:15 to 7:45, and then 12:15 to 1:45. All right, and that's the gray range. All right, so this is what Bitcoin has done thus far. All right, so now let me give you some information about this real time. All right. Now, for those again that have the indicator suite, I just got some timing information down here. I thought maybe they want to show a little weakness. Let's see if they'll do it here. They may just want to push on. That's fine. The range gave us that decline. Let's see what this has to offer. All right. So let me tell you what to look for. Let me tell you what to look for when it comes to the majority. Let me first go ahead and express that to you. Well, if you're new, the majority looks like this. You get a candle. All right. And then you get the live candle. There's the weakness. There's the red bar. You get the live candle with the mid that exceeds the high, or the mid that exceeds the low. Right. So I have a pressure in here should this happen. All right. There's a pressure that will fire off on the upper side as well as the lower side here. It'll fire off. All right. Now the next thing that you'll want to look for is this. All right. So let me do this. You're going to get a big wick, little wick. All right, so that's what you kind of got here: big wick, little wick. There's the weakness: big wick, little wick effect. All right, that's important. So you got your mid exceeding the high, exceeding the low. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. All right, so we had our wick. Uh, they possibly will reach down a little bit more, but if not, they're definitely going to come into this threshold of this bar. All right, they're going to definitely come up here. I think possibly move down a little bit more, but they're definitely going to want to reach up. All right, so now we're going to get to how I'm able to tell you this stuff. We'll get to that in just a moment. But let me go in and tell you what the majority looks like. Let me tell you. All right, so then you get a bar, and then the next bar, okay, needs to be bigger. Of course, you get a smaller bar. Bodies, okay, need to be able to fit in here twice. All right, it needs to fit in here twice. All right, so that's the majority. Those are the three different ways it will show up on your chart. Now, when it comes to the price scale, all right, so we can do that here. Let's do it on this side because I'm already drawing over there. Let's do it here. The center of the scale is important, the upper part of the scale and the lower part of the scale. Now I'm just going estimation here. All right, so don't penalize me if it's not perfect. All right. Typically, the market will turn as it approaches the center of the scale. It'll turn. If it's going to stay bearish, it'll go back down. And definitely once it get under the lower half of the scale, maybe come up and then rotate and go, even further. All right, so that's important. All right, so now that we got that out the way, so that's the scale. Oh, the trend. I didn't go over the trend with you. The trend is 7 bars. All right, so you don't see 7 bars up here. You don't see 7 bars up here, and you definitely don't see 7 bars up here. All right, closing higher. All right, I'm gonna blow this up just for a second so you can kind of see what that looks like. All right, so let me just do this real quick and then we're going to dive into it. I'm not going to hold the video long. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm saying 7. All right, so we got 7 here. I got an indicator for this. I just don't have it on the chart. All right, so let's do this. We would measure this. All right, so that's all we would do. We measure this. If it sticks a little bit, do forgive me. All right, got a lot of charts up and a lot of charts with stuff on it. All right, it should go that far, and it almost made it. All right, so now when it came to the turning here, the turning point that it made, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's only 4. It can go back down if it so decides. All right, so if it so decides, it can go back down. So that's what you have with that. All right. All right, so they're going to go through this high. Let's see. All right, so they're wanting to come back. I thought they would want to move it down just a little bit more, but okay. Nevertheless, they're coming back. All right, so now let me go over what it is that I would want you to know. All right, now I did tell you guys about them touching the pullback line. I had went over that before. I did. I went over that before. I don't have it in here. I don't have it in here, but most of the time, there's a 15 in here, 15 EMA, and you can, use whatever moving average you want. Just make sure it's like a medium weight. This ain't about technicals, but I'm gonna just go ahead and mention that in here, and then I'll tell you about these boxes as well. Then I'm gonna let you go. All right, so typically when they hit your moving average, whatever weighted moving average you want to use, whenever they hit that, usually they'll rotate. Let me show you Bitcoin here on the daily so you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. This is some information, just numbers to pay attention to. The background is red. These are trying to turn green, and I don't think that that's going to last but for so long, but they are breaking a low. All right. So if you want to just trade Bitcoin today, just have that information in mind. Want to try to keep them beneath. Uh, well, we don't want them back up here. Let's just say that. Let's say right at that 35, that 35.17 area. We don't want them closing back in that. They shouldn't get that far if they're going to stay down. All right. So that's some information for you to know. So all of these backgrounds are green, but that's red. So at some point, if you're trying to find price sensitivity, these backgrounds are going to turn and they're going to go back down. All right. So, and again, this is the indicator for those that have the indicator suite. I added some additional indicators. This is just 2 of them. All right. Just 2 of them. You got your little arrow, which again, the arrow plots, they need to go. All right. So one single bar plot and go. Just go in and go. All right. They need not pass the second bar. See, and that's the thing I do want to tell you. So if they turn around, they need not pass that second bar, where the arrow is at. All right, so that's helpful and it's simple. All right, so they're getting above our scale, which is fine, absolutely fine here. Now, when it comes to the oh yes, the thing that I want to tell you, do forgive me. Do forgive me. I'm trying to explain some things to you that I left in that last video as well. We're going to get to why price turns. We're going to get to that. Do know that we're going to get to that. The The average moving average of your choice. Typically, whenever you get your trend bar back in that direction, just see if that fifth bar can close under that low. All right, just the fifth one. One, two, three, four, five. All right, so let's see. Where my crosshairs at? Let's see if that fifth bar closed under that low. Because sometimes they don't like to just go right away. They do a lot of back and forth before. Yes, it did. So it closed beneath that low. You got a further drop. So that'll help you. All right. So that's just one thing I wanted to tell you about that. The next thing that I want to tell you, okay, so if they got the green bar, let's say the green bar here hit it, you got to see if that fifth bar will stay above there. Same way with this, the green bar hit it. Let's see if that fifth bar can close above this bar's high and just keep going. If not, it's a good chance it may want to turn over. But that's not the timing thing. That's not the timing thing. Typically, when people see strong bars, they'll want to get in the market. All right. Don't do that. I just want to tell you, don't do that. Just wait. Give it a moment. Let's take this. This seems like a pretty big, strong bar. Let's just take this bar and let's do this. Don't immediately get in. Please don't do that. There's a good chance that they're going to go roughly about halfway of that, okay, and then turn around. I just want to tell you that don't do that. So when you see the bigger bar, okay, this is a pretty sizable bar in comparison, and we're talking comparison to the last buy attempt. Let's go with that. The last buy attempt here. All right, that's pretty big. It's bigger than that at least. Okay, so what I want you to do is don't just jump in the market, please. Whatever you don't do that. It's a good chance they'll do that. Okay, so that's some need to know information. And so it doesn't mean that it won't keep going. It's just don't do that. All right. It's a good chance they may turn around. They may just turn around. So don't try to run right in there and do that. Don't do that. Okay, so our lines are moving on us. So let's do this. Let's kind of put this here. Hopefully this information will find you well. Again, I don't want the video to be too long because I am moving away from delivering content here in the public space. All right. And I'm no longer delivering private information. I put enough videos in my private community that I'm no longer wanting to deliver any more content because there's a substantial amount of information that I've already disclosed. All right, but I want to help you guys in the public. All right, so my private community, they know more than what I'm sharing clearly here, but I do want to help you guys that's new because I didn't have the help when I got started. All right, and again, it's full of professionals. This space is full of professionals, and they know exactly how to take your money. And so I want to tell you that. All right, so now I don't want to keep moving these lines. They might slow down after this bar. You might get a red one. If let's see. Might get a red one. Let's see. Let's see. Can they give it to us? They're slowing, but they're not turning. They're not turning. They're slowing, but they're not turning. Okay, so they're picking up speed. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, they want to pick up speed. That's fine. Yeah, they're picking up speed. All right, so here, same thing. Same thing. You're getting a big bar, right? Okay, so let's measure this. Measure this. All right, pretty big bar. Okay. In comparison, if they can finish it on its high. No, they're not finishing it on its high. Let's see if they'll finish. No, they're not going to make it back up there in time enough. Okay, yeah, they might. They just might. All right, so let's do this. Let's do this. That's in comparison to the last one. Let's just say the last one there. All right, so it's not the biggest of them all, but it's in compared to the last one. Let's just go to the last one. Let's see if that'll slow down. Let's see if it'll slow down here. Okay, let's see if it'll slow down at the midpoint and turn around. Let's just see. Let's just see. All right. That's in comparison. All right. So you got your fifth bar above your pullback line. And again, whatever pullback line you decide to use, anything that's like a medium weight. So you're going 15 or above. All right. But nothing too far out. All right. So just maybe try to double that size if need be. All right. So 15 to maybe a 35, somewhere in there. And just use that. Okay. So, and they did close the fifth bar above this high because most of the time they'll whipsaw you. They'll kind of go back and forth, back and forth. All right, so that's the thing that I want to share with you, is that when you see the bigger bar, try not to just rush into it. Try not to do that Because oftentimes what they'll do is that the moment you pull the trigger, because someone has to buy and someone has to sell, there's a matching algorithm out there. And so if you're willing to buy on that excitement or that thrust, there's a good chance, just a good chance, that it will rotate back towards you. So if you could just hold on, say, hey, I know there's a good chance you may come back towards me, and then I'll, take the position. Or if you get in it, don't believe that it'll just turn around either. It just all depends on context, because this is a bigger bar than that green one there. And they pushed on. They pushed on. All right. So they pushed on. I do believe that they can probably get here. I do. I believe they can probably get there. They're doing pretty well. They're doing pretty well. All right. So now, when it comes to the pivots, here's the thing that I did introduce in the last video, and I'll tell you guys here. Whenever they run pivots, whenever they run pivots, it's it's important that you know that there's a price outside of the pivot that they're aiming at. All right. It's not just the pivot itself. It's not. I can assure you, it's not. It's a lot. It's a lot more complicated than that, in a sense. All right. I'm not going to go and scroll through this chart. I'm not going to do that. But when they run pivots, keep in mind what I'm telling you about the. Well, they may want to show the weakness now. I guess they went above the midpoint. All right, but I do believe they can get there. But try to keep that in mind, that when they run the pivot, it's not just them going outside the pivot that's important. That's not it. What I want you to do is do this. I'm gonna tell you what you can do. Same thing that we're doing with the big bar effect. All right. Same thing. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. When they run your pivot, I want you to do that. Okay. Just take the size of that bar and project it out. Now, it's something else that's incorporated into all of this. I'm not going to tell you, okay? But there's something else that's going to go on. So here's a little bit of that weakness. There's something else that's going on, all right? But I do want to make you aware. Start there. So if you're a new trader and you're coming into this space, you want to have an idea of what's going to happen, right? What's going to happen is when you enter in on the break, all right? If you try to enter in, trying to catch that momentum, they break the pivot and you're jumping into it, there's a good chance within a reasonable distance that they're going to vacuum back into that pivot. All right. There's something that usually happens before they break it. That's important. And then, of course, after they break the pivot, it's something that happens as well. All right. I can't go into details, but I do want to help you find your way. I want to help you find your way to some fundamental pieces that can be, extremely useful. Let's see what they do here. Let's see what they do here. So when to anticipate that they'll come back? All right, when to anticipate that they'll come back? Yeah, they should reach back into this threshold of this bar. Absolutely, I think that that's absolutely what they're going to do. Can they get back through the high? Well, we'll definitely have to see. They're right at that midpoint. They just closed above it a little bit, but now they're trying to lean back over. Remember, I told you that the see see how they got here and just rotated back in the opposite direction, kind of what they did up here. Now, I'm not a Bitcoin trader. I trade charts. If you put it in front of me, I can tell you what to do with them. I'm an NQ trader. I like to trade the NQ, but I want to give you some information that can be utilized on any market, any time frame. So it doesn't matter your market or your time frame. Really, you can trade whatever you want. But again, I'm an NQ trader. I love trading the NQ. All right, that's just what I want to do. Let's see what they do after they run this pivot. So if you find the video useful, they may want to show a little bit of weakness after this bar on the range chart. So you may get some kind of red bar, or they may pull down a little further into this bar, either which one. You may get a red bar, or they're going to pull further down into this bar. Okay, so they did reach up. They kind of did that weakness there. So if you want to know how to read real time, okay, the education that's in my playlist provides a lot of details on how to anticipate turns, how to count your way to it as well. Like there's a way that you can count your way to turns. When the market pulls back, there's a way you can count that as well. When it comes to the fluidity of price, there's a way that it behaves. Now, I will tell you this, and then I must go. When it comes to the NQ, particularly because I'm an NQ trader, I'm gonna tell you this. And I said I said one of these things in a video before. When the bar opens up, okay, I believe this is the absolute low of the turn. When the bar opens up, you want to see if it can push 3 ticks very fluidly in the direction that you're wanting to go. All right. So I've said that in one video. I can't remember which one it was. Here's two other things that I want you to consider in Q. Now you got to pick the market of your choosing and spend some time with it and learn how it moves. With the NQ, there's a 30 tick window, okay, that they like to rotate in when it comes to your bar. Okay, when it moves, it's a 30 tick window that they tend to move into the teens and 20s, low 20s, and then they'll go back the other way. All right. So you will want to see them hit 30 ticks really quickly. You want to see them kind of go ahead and get there. That'll help. That'll help just a bit. Just want to tell you that. This is private community stuff I'm sharing with you. I want to help you new trader. And I got tons of information I share in my private community, so they wouldn't mind if I shared this. The next thing, okay, when you're dealing with your anchor chart, your higher time frame, 300 ticks. So if you see your hourly, I use my hourly for my anchor chart. If I'm going to look at a higher time frame, 300 ticks. Can it move 300 ticks very fluidly? So most of the time when the news happen, or let's say the market comes up, it's like cutting on a faucet. Okay, they letting all that pressure out. Most of the time, it'll push 300 ticks really quickly. All right. Now, if the news is going to come back, let's say it pushed up and then it comes back down 300 ticks. Now you may have a problem from one side as well as the other. You have to see that happen. Okay, you have to see it out. You have to see it out and combine it with some other information. I can't tell you everything. I can't, but that's important. All right, so that's important. I want you to kind of keep that in mind. So 3, if the moment the bar opens, 30 once it starts moving up and down, and then 300 if you're going to look at a bigger time frame. Now, if you are a swing trader and you're looking at your daily, it's 3,000. And that's why most of the time your average daily bar will stop at 2318, somewhere in there. It doesn't reach 3,000 ticks most of the time. That'll help you on your intraday basis. You combine that information with that threshold effect. All right, just combine it with the threshold effect. I'm trying to get used to this platform. We got our big wick. We got a big wick up here. That's all. Big wick, little wick. We got the mid below the low. The body can fit in there. So they got it. They got all of it. All right. Maybe they're going to try to rotate and bring it back down. If they are, it's going to come here. All right. It's just going to come here. So there'll still be they will still be above the center of the chart. They're above the upper part of the chart. And here's your lower part of your chart. They have a trend here on this side of it anyway. All right. I blow it. Let's see if yeah, they held the bottom. That's fine. They got a trend kind of inside here. That's all. All right. So that's my time with you. And again, for all of my community members, private community members, I got some additional upgrades that I've done. So utilize the link that you currently have, and you will be able to obtain the different updates here. We got some indications firing off here on the range. Okay, they got this coming in here. They had one on the bottom fire off. Again, the moment that that bar closes, all right, that little red bar on the top of the high there, the moment that this closed, that signal comes on and say, hey, this is important what they're doing. All right, so you might want to pick up those new updates if you're already in possession of the indicator suite. You'll want to pick up those updates and see what they're about. I'm gonna just kind of project this forward for you, and then I must go, people. Let's take and do this. Let's see what the response will be, if any. Let's see. All right, so let's kind of do this. You may get some kind of response here. If not on the next bar, definitely you may get another response. Oh, they're increasing here. Okay, so we're getting a repeat. So they may just go ahead and reach here. Oh, well, maybe here come your response. Green bar, maybe green bar. Okay, there's the response. All right, so that's my time with you. I absolutely have enjoyed delivering content to the public here. And I absolutely wish each and every one of you new traders a prosperous journey. Do take your time. And again, if you are in need of indicators, I'm giving away all of these indicators. I got over 300 indicators I'm trying to give away to traders for $100. I have you know there's one indicator in my play in my indicator list. I paid over $200 just to get the functionality, and that's included. And I altered the code because there's something that I actually wanted it to do. But I got like 299 more indicators I'm going to give away in addition to that one as well. And all of that for just $100. So don't go spend $300, $400 on one indicator. I'm giving away over 300 indicators for $100. There's no reason why you can't be profitable in trading. No reason at all. Some people can't afford professional grade education, right? The playlist is free. I've been going over some free information here, center of the chart. There's the reaction. I've been going over free information, okay? And so the free information can get you there as well, all right? But I will have you know, if you really want to succeed at this stuff, get some education. Don't limit yourself to free information. You are absolutely you're causing yourself a bigger issue down the road. So just try to consider education. Doesn't have to be with me. I want to tell you that. Doesn't have to be with me. Here's your daily of your NQ. All right. The moment that this bar closed, that indication comes on. Now it could validate this high or we're flipping. It's just that simple. All right. All right. So I wish you all the best with your trading. Do take care.